Welcome. Today we are diving into how Linkurious Enterprise empowers KYC analysts or investigators to efficiently review corporate ownership structures, analyze complex networks, and perform risk assessments. So, for starting the investigation with Linkurious Enterprise, you can start your investigation in multiple ways. So, basically, you create a visualization, and as a first step, you look in the search bar and you type in, and as soon as you type in something, you'll have results popping up. You can choose the results you want to. For example, if you want to look at XYZ Holdings, you can click on it and add it into your visualization to explore further. Also, what you can do is go to advanced search to have more filters, and if you type in, you will have some results. You can set up the fuzziness from strict to fuzzy. Also, you can choose the categories. As you can see here, you have person and companies. So if you only want to look for companies, you can click on company and go further down based on property. For example, if you want to look of industry based on financial services, if you put that condition in, you will only have results based on that. And then you can click the checkbox and add it into your visualization to drill down further into this company structure. That's one way of starting your investigation. Let's look at other ways. You also have this new very feature in Linkurious Enterprise called No Code Query Builder, wherein you can look for companies based on some conditions. For example, if you want to look for a person based on their risk scores and who are beneficial owner of some companies, you can choose it here, and you can preview your query, which is a cipher query. You don't need to know any language, but that will generate results based on the conditions you have put, and you will have those results in the preview panel, and you can add these results to a workspace. So this really enables analysts to search via queries, not knowing cipher language. You can add these results into your workspace and you can start your investigations. Okay, let's go back to the first step where you were looking for a specific company and then you wanted to have a look at the structure of the company. As a first step, you can see this company has six direct connections. You can keep expanding it by double clicking and you will see the direct connections it has. It says that it owns Global Investment Holdings by 80%. It's also a parent company of XYZ Capital AG, and beneficial owner of XYZ Holdings here is Michael Ali Black. You can expand further the parent company and see if you get some relationships. So when you expand XYZ Capital AG, you see it's owned by ABC Company and also is a parent of Quantum Finance SAL. So you can keep expanding these companies to get further connections, and when you do that, you see that company ABC is owned 30% by Jane Smith and 40% by John Doe. So that's how you can keep expanding and look at the ownership of companies. Here the layout is a bit different, but you can also change the layout so that it looks more cleaner. So basically you can just go to the layout panel and choose hierarchical and set the selected node as root node and run it. So you'll have the hierarchical structure in which you can see this information more clearly as compared to before. So by manually expanding nodes, you can trace the full ownership structure as you can see here. However, instead of expanding node by node, you can also do different things. So let's have a look at it. Let's do invert selection to select other part of the graph and remove it to go back to the previous state. So now you have this company XYZ Holdings. So if you only want to look at beneficial owner, you can directly do so by clicking this node and running a query which is find UBO. So as soon as you do that, you will know that okay, Michael Ali Black is a beneficial owner of XYZ Holdings. It was only one hop here, but if it was more hops, it could have given you that result based on the query. Okay, let's go back and see. We expanded few hops manually to see the full structure, but what we can also do here with the company is you can again run a query which is actually giving the power to analysts to automate things and making things more faster. So let's assume that you want to fully expand a company and look at the companies or subsidiaries involved in the structure and also the persons. You can run this query, which is fully expand a company, and as soon as you execute it, you will have a result in terms of hierarchical structure, and you can see the ownership automatically. So you can use this one click query to reveal the hierarchical ownerships automatically. Also, the layout can be adjusted for the structured view. As you can see here, you can see that you have a hierarchical structure wherein you are seeing the results that XYZ Holdings is owned by these companies, and then you have a beneficial owner, and further down other people involved like John and Jane Smith owning company ABC, and finally Global Ventures owned by Emily, and ABC Europe owned by Nina Schmidt. So that's how you can streamline getting ownership structures and details via queries in Linkurious Enterprise. So let's assume this is a complex network of a company structure and you want to leverage Linkurious capabilities to have an intuitive visual representation. So basically, as you can see by designs, you have some visuals to locate where are the people and how they're owning companies in your structure. But what you can also do is you can apply filters and go further down if you want to focus on specific industries, for example. So you can just use the toggle buttons. For example, you want to only look at financial services and finance, so you can toggle all the other out like manufacturing, real estate, and technology. That will give you a view of financial services or finance companies in your structure. What is very intuitive is you can also see these applied filters in this little box, so you can just click on cross to remove those filters, or you can reset all filters at once by the reset button. Also, what you can do is you can further highlight companies based on risk scores if it gives you some insights. So basically, you can go to the design panel and you can design the companies based on the risk scores dynamically. So if you choose dynamic and if you choose risk score, you will see the most risky companies in your ownership chart. And as you can see in the chart, by this dynamic sizing, XYZ Holdings and the Offshore Capital LLC are the highest risky industries in your ownership structure. And you can drill further down that if you want to go in further ownerships of offshore capitals to see how risky it is. So that's how some of the features just give you visuals on the industry types, the risk scores for your ownership structure analysis. Let's go back and put it into the previous design, and let's look at other capabilities. So at any moment, if you want like a tabular format or tabular details to gather company jurisdictions, locations, and industry types, you can do so. So you'll have a graphical representation of ownership structure as well as the tabular structure, and you can look what industry types you have in the ownership structure. You can also look what kind of jurisdictions are involved. For example, if you have like a company in Cayman Islands, probably that is risky and you want to look at it, you could do so. And if you're like really interested in jurisdiction, there's also other way of doing it. You can utilize the geo map. You can turn on this geo mode by this globe icon, and you can easily see the company jurisdictions and visualize the subsidiary distributions, that how the subsidiaries and the companies in your structure are located on the map and where are they located. It gives you a clear view. Also, what you can do is you can use timeline. So basically, you can launch the timeline with this icon, and you can, here I have company registration dates. So basically you can look at company registrations in your ownership structure again, and then detect anomalies based on their registration date. For example, if the company was registered at different dates or same dates, That means somebody is trying to hide under the structure, or there are suspicious activities involved. So you can run the timeline to see the registration of all the companies. So as soon as you scroll it, sorry, when you scroll it, you will be able to see which companies are registered when, and you can follow the ownership, which gives you a clearer view. Okay, so till now we analyzed the companies you had in the ownership structure. Now, for example, you want to look at the initial beneficial owner we had, and we see there's another connection. But what I want to do before is I also want to perform an adverse media search. I can do so, and if I want to identify other high risk connections, if they are there, I can do so. I can just right click, and via a custom action feature, I can navigate to any of my screening tools. Here I'm navigating to Google to look for adverse media, and for example here it's a dummy data and then there is a dummy results. But let's assume you have a threat of arrest. So clearly you see that okay, you have adverse media on this person and this looks suspicious. Also, because this has further connections, I would like to expand and see what it gives. And this is very interesting because it tells me this entity is similar to entity Mike Ali Khan, who owns another company named as Offshore Capital LLC. And because we have this new feature of entity resolution with sensing integration, we can resolve duplicate entities, as you can see here, this Michael Ali Black and Michael Ali Khan automatically. And from the UI as a user, you can see that those are resolved into one entities, and you could identify that they are actually similar persons thanks to the sensing integration we have. Also, if you go to the edge, you can also look at the result on what basis it was resolved. So you could see that based on their name and date of birth match, they were resolved into similar entities. So that's how this ER integration, entity resolution integration with Linkurious Enterprise, helps us resolve entities and gives a further view on similar entities you have in the structure and how they are playing a key role in ownerships of subsidiaries or the companies. What I can do now is I can group entities to see the nationalities in the structure. So when I do that, I see that there are different nationalities of persons and owners in my company. Also, I could group them based on risk score. So you see that there are only two companies of high score owned by actually same person, which is Michael Black, resolving these two entities. And as soon as you use the grouping feature based on the risk score, you get a more clear view of one person having a stake in two high risk companies in your structure. Okay, what you can also do, if you want to change the style, you can again run a query, or if you want to add a comment, you can run a query and tag a person as suspicious. And as soon as you'll add a suspicious comment and run it, you'll have that property added into this node, which will tell you that this person is suspicious. Okay, so we have searched for adverse media, we have looked at high risk companies in the structure. Let's say you still miss some company details and you want to go to company registries via third party data plugins, and you want to retrieve an extra information on the company structure, or you want to retrieve like jurisdictional records to verify corporate legitimacy, you can do so. You can right click via custom actions and you can fetch details from Company House UK. Okay, so as of now it's an initialization mode, but generally when it works you'll have some details of companies. As you can see now here, you can look at its details, and when you click on import result, you will have that result added back into your visualization. Okay, and now if you want to Let me look for the company. And now if you want to add more information, you can easily do so or retrieve via Company House UK. And once the investigation is complete, sorry, it's a bit clear. Once the investigation is complete, you want to save findings in the collaborative workspace, so you can easily save your visualization. Like I want to save it as a demo. I click on save. Also, what I can do is I can add comments and tag people if I want to. For example, I'm tagging Andrea here. Also, I can export it in different formats, either as data or as an image. When I do so with an image, I can choose a few extra features and annotate. I can preview it and then export it into SVG or PDF or PNG formats to incorporate into my downstream processes or documents. So this is how you can collaboratively work to analyze ownership structures, and you will have those structures and the visualization saved in your spaces, which are your team spaces like KYC team. And when you want to work with other teams, you can do so in other spaces where those teams have access, like compliance space. Also, what you can do is you can set up some alerts, real-time alerts. For example, if you want to look for risky beneficial owners and prioritize investigations using case management tools, you can set up an alert to run automatically, which will give you some results based on the conditions. Like if you're looking for an alert, if I go to an alert I have, you can see that I have an alert to detect if there are companies inside the dataset which are potentially risky and having a beneficial owner. I can do so, and this will give me some results in form of cases which I can access via this hyperlink. And when I open a case, I will have a company and a beneficial owner of this company, and I can further analyze the structure. So with Linkurious Enterprise, uncovering UBOs and high-risk corporate structures is really seamless. It's just few clicks and it's very visual. By leveraging advanced search, automated entity resolution, real-time alerts, and other features, we transform complex financial investigations into intuitive and efficient workflows for you. Thank you.